Someone bumps into you on the street, and before you can even process it, the word slips out. Sorry. You send an email that's perfectly polite, and you still end it with, sorry for the long message. A friend cancels plans, and your first response is, I'm so sorry. Why do some of us apologize constantly, even when we've done nothing wrong? What happens in the brain and body when sorry becomes more than courtesy? It becomes a reflex, a shield, a way of existing in the world. Tonight, we're diving deep into the psychology and physiology of chronic over-apologizers. It's not politeness gone wrong, it's an intricate dance of nerves, hormones, and survival wiring. Let's start with the moment the word forms. When a potential conflict arises, even a tiny one, your amygdala fires instantly, scanning for threat. In most people, minor social friction barely registers, but for chronic apologizers, the alarm rings louder. Their threat detection system is hypersensitive, flooding the body with a quick hit of cortisol and adrenaline. Heart rate ticks up, palms might sweat, stomach tightens. Saying sorry is the fastest off switch. It signals submission, diffuses tension, and calms the sympathetic nervous system almost immediately. Physiologically, it's brilliant. The apology triggers a drop in stress hormones, bringing the parasympathetic branch online for instant relief. Your body learns fast. Apologize, feel safe. Repeat enough times, and it becomes wired habit in the basal ganglia, the brain's autopilot center. Now meet the conflict avoiders. These are people whose nervous systems treat disagreement like danger, often rooted in early environments where anger was unpredictable or emotions were unsafe. Their vagus nerve, the regulator of social safety, never fully developed strong. Polyvagal theory shows us that a well-toned vagus allows calm connection even during friction, but for them, any hint of disapproval sends the body into subtle freeze or fawn mode. Fawning looks like over-accommodation, excessive apologies, people-pleasing, shrinking. Physiologically, this keeps oxytocin low and cortisol simmering because true safety never fully arrives. They say sorry not because they believe they're wrong, but because their body believes conflict could cost them belonging. Relatable? Think of that meeting where you apologized for someone else's mistake just to smooth the air. Then there are the low self-worth carriers. For them, sorry isn't about the situation, it's about identity. Chronic low self-esteem reshapes brain structure. The medial prefrontal cortex, involved in self-referential thinking, becomes overactive with negative bias. Every interaction gets filtered through, I am probably the problem. Dopamine pathways, responsible for reward and confidence, run quieter, so taking up space feels wrong. Apologizing becomes a preemptive strike. If I admit fault first, maybe you won't reject me. Physiologically, this ties to elevated baseline cortisol. Studies show people with low self-esteem have dysregulated HPA axis function, meaning stress lingers longer. Their body stays in mild alert, scanning for proof they are burdensome. Saying sorry reduces that inner tension temporarily, like scratching an itch you can't reach. Don't forget the empathetic overfeelers. These folks have hyperactive mirror neuron systems. They literally feel your discomfort as their own. When someone frowns, sighs, or seems off, their insula and anterior cingulate cortex light up with empathic distress. It's not imagination, it's neurobiological resonance. Apologizing becomes a way to soothe that shared pain, even if they caused none of it. Their oxytocin response is strong toward others, but weak towards self-protection. Physiologically, this empathy overload can lead to compassion fatigue. Adrenal glands tire from constant microstresses, serotonin dips, and emotional burnout creeps in. They say sorry for existing loudly, for needing things, for having feelings, because your potential discomfort hurts them more than silence hurts them. The perfectionist preemptors take it to another level. High standards mean any deviation feels catastrophic.
Their anterior cingulate cortex, the error detection center, is chronically overactive, flagging minor flaws as threats. Admitting imperfection publicly is terrifying, so they apologize in advance. Sorry if this isn't good enough. Sorry for taking your time. Sorry for trying. Physiologically, perfectionism correlates with heightened sympathetic reactivity, faster heart rate spikes at small mistakes. Apology becomes a control strategy. If I name the flaw first, I manage how you see it. But it reinforces the cycle. Dopamine only flows when others approve, never from internal validation. There's also the trauma-shaped responders. Past experiences of abuse, criticism, or walking on eggshells wire the brain for hypervigilance. The hippocampus, key for context, struggles to distinguish past danger from present safety. A neutral tone can trigger old fear circuits. Apologizing was once survival. Make yourself small, take the blame, avoid escalation. Even years later, the body remembers. Flashbacks aren't always visual, they can be physiological. Sudden cortisol surge, throat tightening, instant submission. Sorry bypasses conscious thought straight from limbic memory. Healing this requires retraining the nervous system, slow exposure to safe conflict, building new associations where space-taking doesn't equal punishment. And the culturally conditioned, especially women in many societies, where politeness norms amplify apology as feminine deference. Social reward circuits reinforce it. Say sorry, be seen as likable, keep harmony. Testosterone differences can play a role too. Lower baseline in some leads to higher conflict aversion. Habits form early, reinforced by dopamine hits from approval. Zoom out further. Why does the body allow this pattern to persist? Because short-term, it works beautifully. Each apology reduces immediate physiological threat, heart rate drops, breathing evens, safety signals reach the brainstem. But long-term, chronic cortisol contributes to inflammation, immune suppression, even hippocampal shrinkage that worsens anxiety. The gut-brain axis suffers. Stress alters microbiota, leading to IBS, fatigue, mood swings. Unexpressed needs build resentment that somatizes as tension headaches or jaw clenching. The voice gets quieter, boundaries blur, burnout arrives disguised as exhaustion. Yet here's the deeper truth. Over-apologizing often belongs to deeply kind, considerate, responsible people. Their sensitivity isn't flaw, it's gift miscalibrated. The same wiring that makes them apologize excessively makes them excellent listeners, thoughtful friends, careful creators. The goal isn't to erase sorry, it's to reclaim it. True apology requires actual wrongdoing, otherwise it's self-erasure. Physiologically, change happens through small recalibrations. Pause before speaking. Let the prefrontal cortex catch the impulse. Practice statements of truth instead of, sorry I'm late. Each time the brain logs new data, I took space and the world didn't end. Oxytocin rises from self-advocacy in safe relationships. Over time, the vagus nerve strengthens, baseline cortisol lowers, and the amygdala quiets. Neuroplasticity favors the new pathway when repeated. Some reach a turning point, a moment where silence felt worse than risk. They experiment, one unapologized opinion, one need stated plainly. The body tenses, waits for rejection that doesn't come. Dopamine flows not from approval, but from authenticity. It feels foreign at first, like wearing new skin, but the nervous system adapts, learning that presence isn't punishment. So which pattern echoes loudest for you? The avoider diffusing tension, the carrier assuming fault, the feeler absorbing pain, the preemptor controlling image, the responder protecting from old ghosts, or the conditioned shrinking to fit? Name it quietly in the comments if it fits. Recognition is the first rewiring. In a world that often rewards loudness, the chronic apologizers move gently. They notice discomfort others miss. They carry emotional labor without complaint. But gentleness toward others must include gentleness toward self. You don't need to apologize for taking the space you were born to occupy. Your body learned sorry to keep you safe. Now it can learn something new, that safety also lives in unapologetic presence. Not arrogance, just accurate size. The same sensitive system that over-apologizes can become exquisite at boundaries, deep in connection, fierce in protection of self and others. If this uncovered a pattern you've carried quietly, know you're not alone, and you're not broken. You're wired for care in a world that rarely returns it evenly. The work isn't becoming less sensitive, it's directing that sensitivity inward too. Like the video if it named something you felt but never said. Subscribe for more explorations of the hidden layers we all carry.